What's going on, everyone? I am Magically Average. This over here is your Nintendo 64. You have yet another week with us on BakaBites, but this week's going to be really fun because we're recapping everyone's favorite sports ball, the Super Bowl, but more
Hooray.
specifically, the halftime show. We are posing the question of if a weeb could put together their ideal halftime show, who would be your lineup? But first, how you doing? You're yet another GIF
good.
again for this week, I know, because your camera is still on the mend. So
It is.
But how are you doing?
Pretty good. Had a really laid back, lazy weekend, which was nice. Although
Always
not
preferred.
much of a bigger update from last week when I said we got a lot of snow. So it still hasn't stopped snowing. It's terrible.
I want to take this opportunity. I did it in the last video. I don't know if you watched it or listened to the podcast episode from last week, but I made a colossal error in my conversion of Fahrenheit to Celsius. And I took the opportunity to actually splice in a second video of myself correcting my past self. But I also want to take this opportunity for my present self to say I was so terribly wrong. I think I said conversion of whatever temperature it was by my house at the time was like negative 37 degrees Celsius. That would be the equivalent of like negative 34 degrees Fahrenheit, which is not true. It was more closer to like negative 18, which is roughly like 0 to negative 1 degrees Fahrenheit. So I made the correction then. I want to take ownership of my stupid dumb error and own up to it and say I done fucked up and don't know the metric system or how to convert Fahrenheit to Celsius. Because I grew up, learning about feet and inches and things that don't make sense, like miles instead of kilometers. So yay, hooray for the American system of measurement. But besides that, good to hear that you're still surviving the snow. It's like thankfully getting warmer by me, but it's also scary.
Oh, lucky.
Well, no, it's a scary time, as you probably know too, living in a cold area. Because you get one day where it kind of warms up like a little bit. I say warm, I mean like the high 30s. And things start to like soft melt, not full melt, but like
Oh yeah.
But then the next day it's like back to the teens, and then it freezes, and you're like, fuck. So I'm a little worried about that, but for the time being, we're not in like the single digits anymore for Fahrenheit, so we're looking pretty good for now. But
yeah, if you were to cut into, well, you could probably I'll take a picture of it and I'll share it. Of the snowbank in front of my house, it's actually in layers now, so it looks very much like a cake. So you can see we did get a bit of a warm spell. It melted, so there's a bottom layer of ice, and then a compacted layer of snow, and then a thin layer of hard snow, and then everything else that's gone on top. So it's it's very risky. I forget what city near me, but not to dox myself, so I just won't say it, is actually having a salt shortage. And they've had to reach out to other municipalities that haven't had as much snow as we've had in the province be like, hey, can we borrow some salt?
The where I live too, they oversalt everything. Part of it's like preparation, but a lot of it's just like we also react really slowly. So what's the easiest solution? Throw salt everywhere, which is why our roads suck here. But other places in the US, I think they do some sort of weird sand mixture. It's very odd.
So
yeah, it's not salt.
So that's what they do here.
Oh, okay.
So they'll do the plow that goes out first will sand, and then the plow behind it will salt. But for a time, the Ontario government was like, "Ooh, salt bad." So what places like my municipality were told to do is find a solution. So what they were doing for a while was apparently beet juice, sand, and some other coarse material was being used.
Okay.
And what would happen is the beet juice would adhere to the sand and kind of make it a little bit stickier. So if it did get in your tires, at least your tires had that extra traction. It would help. but the problem was it would cake to the roads
Yeah.
until everything melted and rained. And what was happening with a lot of the public transport that drove those roads all day is that they would have this like spackle clay almost mixture in the wheel wells of their vehicles,
Ugh.
and they were having to pay their teams overtime to clean the buses at the end of the day or whatever transportation used the roads. So it was like this whole thing, and then the Ontario government was like, all right, salt good, salt good."
I by the way, in case you aren't aware, this is not BakaBites anymore. This is old men talk about weather and what's happening in their townships.
Old
Um,
men yell at cloud.
yeah, basically. That's really odd. Yeah, I feel like that's just asking for disaster. Also, too, I mean, beets are like purpley ready, so I feel like
Yep.
wouldn't it have like a weird, almost like wow, there's someone hit a deer and exploded it all over the road
So
sort of
the
look to
mixture
it.
was, yeah, the mixture was made well enough that it looked like a dark brown slurry.
Oh, that's
So
even
instead
better.
of,
Cool. So then,
yeah,
so
instead
instead
of
of
blood, it was another bodily fluid.
yep, excellent. What a Ontario, keep it up. You guys are doing great.
We got to
Um,
be number one in something.
and that's causing your car to look like it went through a taffy factory uh, after driving through the streets. Uh, but it's where it's not cold, where it wasn't cold, I should say, since it already happened, was in San Francisco, which is where the Super Bowl took place last weekend. If you're not in the United States or a fan of the NFL or, don't care about sports whatsoever, you might not have been aware, but hopefully you've seen clips online from the halftime show at the very least with Bad Bunny. But yeah, the Super Bowl happened this past weekend, Super Bowl 60. Uh, Not a spoiler because, again, at this point, if you don't know, too bad. The Seahawks beat the Patriots. It was a really
Yeah.
boring game for like the first three quarters. Literally, I guess there was a spike in Google searches after the third quarter of two things. One, the first question to Google was, has there ever been a Super Bowl where only field goals were scored? Because at the time,
Interesting.
the score was 12-0, and the Seahawks had 4 field goals. That was it. There was no touchdown scored through 3 quarters of play. So 45 minutes of game, no touchdowns, just 4 field goals. And then the other question that was asked was, has there ever been a shutout in the Super Bowl? The answer to both of those
Ooh.
questions was no. However, the game ended, I believe it was 29-13, I think. The Seahawks won. So the
Yeah.
fourth quarter, both teams scored 2 touchdowns each. And yeah, Seahawks opened up the floodgates and just said, yeah, we're going to run away with it. So congrats to the Seahawks. But the biggest winner by far, by like a million miles, was Bad Bunny. And we're not going to go into the politics of it. If you're not again from the U.S. and aren't aware, there was another halftime show that was competing with Bad Bunny, put on by Turning Point USA, aka the racist conservative hick fucks that support, the
Bad things.
yeah, all the bad things, all the worst things, led by a lineup of other people that are also inherently bad and shitty, awful human beings. Um, so yeah, we don't care about that one. I made a joke. I was out with friends that night for the first half of the game, and I made a joke to them. I was like, "Oh, do you think they're gonna put? Do you think they could put on the Turning Point USA one?" And one of the guys looked at me. He was like, "Wait, is Bad Bunny not gonna be performing?" I was like, "Dude, no. But what are you? Are you serious? Like, no." I was like, first off, why would we ever do that? Second off, no. We're watching Bad Bunny. But yes, Bad Bunny performed and killed it. The entire show was incredible. And with every new Super Bowl halftime show, I'm trying to think of like the one where it started, and nothing comes to mind. I mean, there was like the Justin Timberlake one way back in the day when it was like
Oh, yeah.
Patriots Panthers, I think, were playing. That was the whole scandalous, like he ripped off
Yep.
her top thing. But I think they were always performing together. But for the last handful of Super Bowl halftime shows, there's been the main performing artist and a lot of like special guests in other cameos that'll be brought on. Like Bad Bunny had a bunch of cameos, and then there were some special guests. His special guests were Lady Gaga, who killed it. She's incredible. Absolutely love Lady Gaga. And Ricky Martin, which was also cool. All the ladies were freaking out when they saw Ricky Martin. So he still got it. But like another memorable one was a couple Super Bowls ago. I think Snoop Dogg was leading it, and he had like Dr. Dre, 50 Cent, Kendrick, Mary J. Blige. I think Mary J. Blige was there. I think Eminem. Like the lineup was huge. It blew me away. But it got me thinking. I was like, if a weeb and a taku were to infiltrate the NFL and be like, hey, if we want a more global presence, we already got baseball. Obviously, baseball, we've captured that. Shohei Ohtani, one of the greatest baseball players of all time already, and he's only like 29 or 30 or whatever. He might even be younger than that. We got plenty of other amazing Japanese baseball players coming over, playing in the MLB. Like, that's on lockdown. Basketball, also huge in Asia. A big basketball fan base in like South Korea. Japan has their own league too. China is obviously huge into basketball too. They have a big league there. And plenty of players that have come over, played collegiate, and then obviously professional. The main one being, oh no, I'm going to forget his name. He played for the Houston Rockets for a long time. Zhao Ming. Like, he was big, probably the biggest Chinese basketball player that came over. Basketball, we're good. Hockey, the love of my life, and I'm assuming yours too, not to profile you, Mr. Canadian. Unless it's curling. Could be curling. I don't know. Hockey's hard. There are leagues like in Hokkaido. If you've read the manga Dogs Red, a great hockey manga, I hope it gets adapted into an anime, but kind of captures like the high school hockey scene, but certainly not as big as some of the other sports. Soccer too. Soccer is massive in Japan.
Oh yeah.
But the one thing that hasn't really made its way over, and for probably pretty obvious reasons, I think it's a tough sport to bring over, is football. So, Roger Goodell, commissioner of the National Football League. I know you listen to this podcast. This is your guilty pleasure.
Every day when he drives into work.
He drives. You think he's driving?
No. Here's my thing. He drives because he has to be in command, right? He's got that alpha energy. No, I have no idea. The guy probably takes a helicopter.
Yeah, I'm sure he does every means necessary to not have to travel. Have him be the person actually commuting. He uses other people to do that for him. But that's not to badmouth you, Mr. Goodell. Okay. We've had our differences in the past. We had the whole ref scandal way back in the day when you didn't pay them, and we have shitty temporary refs, and you fucked over my Green Bay Packers when they played the Seahawks in like the opening weekend game. Still heartbroken on that. But you've improved over the years. If you want to get the real love from the fan base and make your way over into the Asian market, I'm telling you, hire a weeb to coordinate your next Super Bowl halftime performance. Probably not this upcoming Super Bowl, because I imagine you already have something lined up or in the works. Maybe like couple down, okay? But get one of us in there, because we've got a hell of a lineup for you, all right? Drew Tendo and I, we both made our own personal lineups. Now, we split it into two different categories. So our first one is we've both created a lineup around artists that are known for their anime openings and endings specifically. So these are ones that like might not be big touring bands or artists, but you know them from either really popular animes or they've done a lot of anime openings or endings, and that's how they've gained much of their popularity. And then we have a separate one that's just the best, the cream of the crop Japanese artist that we think you should put on the bill for the next Super Bowl. So, without further ado, let's reveal our list. Would you like me to go first for our first one, for the anime?
Yeah, let's go back and forth.
All right.
Yeah.
So, my headlining artist, if you think of like in today's current state of anime openings trending online, most popular, just like rocket shipped up in popularity. The one that immediately comes to the top of my head that I feel like should be on the billboard for the next Super Bowl has to be Creepy Nuts.
Oh
Has to be Creepy
yeah.
Nuts. They have the Don Don season 1 part 1 opening. They've obviously got the Masha one. Everyone loved that one. They've got the 2 from Call of the Night, the opening and the ending from season 1. They have Mirage as well, which is the other opening for Call of the Night season 2. They're all over the place, right?
Aren't they also in Spy Family?
You are thinking of the song Creepy Nuts.
Oh, that's I am. That's it.
People, yeah, I confuse myself as well. Yeah, you're thinking of the season 1 song, which is also a bop. I don't know I can't remember who it's by. But no, I mean, like, Creepy Nuts has to be headlining the halftime show. But my like the features, the special guest appearances, is kind of all over the place, and I'm gonna back it up with rationale, because I feel like it's hard. Like, part of me was like, should I just pick the artists that like people know, like they did like one incredible song, and people just love them for that one song, or should I like pick it for the artist that just had like, went out, did a bunch of different openings. Maybe they're known for like one specific anime, did a bunch of openings. So I kind of have a mix mash. But for me, my 3 others would be Masayaki Suzuki, best known for all of the intros to Kaguya-sama Love is War. Very soulsy, bluesy, R&B style. Totally different feeling from Creepy Nuts, but you got to like mix up the vibe a little bit, right? Like, we went from Bad Bunny to Lady Gaga to Ricky Martin. Like, there's a nice mix and mesh. It's not all the same, So I was going to throw Masayaki Suzuki in there. Also want to give a little spot to one of my favorite, I guess you'd call them just like pure rock. I don't think they're like punk rock or anything, or ska rock. But I have to give a shout out to Asian Kung Fu Generation.
Oh yeah, those.
Great one.
Yeah. Okay.
They
got bangers.
Older band. They have plenty of great songs. I think their most famous one is one of the intros to Naruto Shippuden, I want to say.
Well, they also do an original Naruto one too. They do both.
Yeah. So, yeah, well known. Just good rock. I love it. I love them. They're great. Happy they'll fit the bill too. So you got like more like, hip hop rap with Creepy Nuts. Masayaki Suzuki is again like slower, jazzy, flow into Asian Kung Fu Generation. And then my last one is like a battle, because I want to throw in a third special guest, but it's a fight, and I want you to pick it for me because I don't think I can. My heart said VK Blanca, which they're known for a couple of the intros from Black Clover. If you're familiar with like Black Rover, the song Black Rover.
Yep. That's the first one I was thinking of. Yeah, okay.
Yep. And they do a second one too that's also really good. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head. But they come to mind. I love their sound. I love I think they're like, they would, again, a little similar to Asian Kung Fu Generation, but they have a unique sound to them where I feel like they'd fit it. Or the one that would compete with them for the last spot is Zutomaya. They were the one that you were thinking of. Or no, actually, you know what? You said the other ending. They did the ending to Dandadan season 1, part 1.
Okay.
They also did one of the endings to Chainsaw Man. Very interesting sound. I love how like it's more like pop rocks kind of, but they would be like, again, a nice mesh into it. So I'm like in between those two. My heart said VK Blanca because that was the first one that came to mind, but Zutomaya also up there. So I'm gonna leave it to you. I was thinking VK, but
okay. I think your first choice VK would probably be the better one because you always want
Yeah.
to end kind of like on a hype note.
Well, the ending would be,
For those things.
yeah, the
Yeah.
idea would be like Creepy Nuts comes in, they do like season 1 intro to Call of the Night, right? Maybe go into Mirage after that, the season 2 opening. Maybe throw it over to Masayaki Suzuki to do like the "Oh lovely Mister, oh Miss," like the first song for Kaguya-sama.
Yeah.
It's a great one. Maybe back over to Creepy Nuts, do the ending song for season 1. Asian Kung Fu Generation pops in, does a song or two. Maybe VK Blanca comes in right after that, does Black Rover, and then you top it off with the Mashal and Don from Creepy Nuts. See, you
Oh,
got the
okay. Yeah.
whole thing. You got the whole. I got it all planned out, right? Roger Goodell, call me. I'll give you my number. But yeah, I think that like to me in terms of like current age, and then also the library of songs that these artists have done for anime too is wide. Again, like there was other ones that came to mind, but there were only artists that have done like one, maybe two. You know, they're just kind of like the random ones that get thrown in, big artists or you know up and coming ones that just you know they get the chance, and then that's kind of all they've got. And I'm sure there's plenty of older ones too from anime that people are like, "Why did you do that one too?" But to me,
You want bangers, right? Like
yeah, like
you want to get as many people hyped up as possible, and like that's kind of what you saw with Bad Bunny. Like he's more geared towards like the current generation of music listeners, and then Lady Gaga is the last generation of music listeners,
and
and
then
then
Ricky Martin is like
those our parents,
last,
right?
yeah,
Like, yeah, right.
Well, and then like I just thought of it too, but I have a counterpoint. I was thinking like, oh,
Ooh,
people might be like, well, why didn't you say the Pillows? Because the Pillows are like known. They did the whole soundtrack to Foolie Cooley, and you love Foolie Cooley. And I'm like, yeah, but here's the thing: they unfortunately broke up. So that'd be tough. That'd be tough to try to get them back together. Um, but like you think of like a lot of the older anime, and they all kind of have a soundtrack to them too, and they're less known for their openings or endings, and more known for
yeah,
like the soundtrack itself. I think the easiest one to equate that to would be like Cowboy Bebop. Like the intro is great, Tank is awesome, but like it's not like the rest of the soundtrack is incredible too, right? Like it's
right.
all great, it all fits together. Um, so yeah, I'm sticking to this list. I think easy pick again for me, Creepy Nuts leading the charge. Masayaki Suzuki, Asian Kung Fu Generation, and then VK Blanca to add as special appearances
Okay.
for the halftime show. Who do you got for your list though? I'm interested to hear if we have any overlap.
So we don't have any overlap, but
All
you
right.
did mention an artist that I have on my list. Now,
Oh.
um, I go into my opening act is a group that hasn't had a North American tour, like a full North American tour,
Okay.
but I don't know why. Now, I know Lisa recently had a few North American dates and she is in my list, but now Yaozobi, like
Oh.
they right? They are my headliners. They would either like
Yeah.
I feel like you could start with Idol, the Oshinoko first opening, exactly, because that is loud, it is energetic, like you could throw a wicked show with that. I think there's a lot of people that even like if you are in the anime universe, you've either heard that song or you know of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you're a fan of Oshinoko, like that song's on repeat for you. So I think that would be a great way to hook people in. Now, to re-mention Lisa, I think she would be the second act.
Okay.
And I have a hard time debating which song she would sing, only because like I don't know if you would want that mood to stay high and throw in the first Demon Slayer opening.
Yeah.
Or do one of her more like catchy, like fast Sword Art Online songs, like Crossing Field, right?
Yeah, it's a tough one.
Um, Now, we talked about this before we started. My third act would have to be someone who's wouldn't appear physically
Oh
because
no.
the Dodgers already did it with Hololive Night. My third act is Maury Calliope singing Gold Unbalance for two reasons. It's a badass song, but also her new album With It just came out, and I can't stop listening to it. And I think, you know what? It would throw enough people off to have like a hologram again that you would either
Everyone's
have
just gonna
people
be
like,
screaming, "It's Hatsune Miku!" That's the problem.
exactly that's the problem. You know what? That's who my third act. No, never. Um, No, my niece is a huge fan of Hatsune Miku, so there's
Okay.
probably a concert in my future.
Most likely.
But yeah, Mori Calliope for the third act, and to round things out, because you also mentioned them, I would do Tank and By the Seatbelts. I would like that would be the perfect like anime weeb.
They're kind of like they'd be like a right in the middle of the set. They would just kind of come in with that big jazz,
Dun, 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 dun,
band
dun.
feel. It would be like a nice little
Yeah, I think that would be
reprieve.
better. Maybe switch them out. Maybe have Lisa close and have them in the middle.
Yeah, I like it.
Just
Okay.
because like so many people like that's how I got introduced to Cowboy Bebop was I had Toonami running in the background and the song came on and that's what caught me. I didn't know what Cowboy Bebop was. And then I think at the time Toonami was like on episode 3 or 4. I'm like, what is this? I must know more.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely iconic. And again, that's
Oh yeah.
I was trying to think of like, do we go for the ones where people are gonna notice it? But then I'm like, well, unless the stadium's also filled with a bunch of weebs, probably won't matter all too much, you know? But yeah, like
Yeah, that's why you got to make sure the Super Bowl is in like LA or
yeah,
Seattle or San Francisco.
I was just in San Francisco, and
I know,
it
so
was
it's not
in
going to be there again.
LA a handful of years ago. Yeah, but
Seattle. All right, let's go.
yeah, but I like it. It's a good lineup. I think it definitely fits the bill. Now, the easier one, in my opinion, would be if you had your dream just Japanese artist lineup. Like this would be like the idea would be to showcase the incredible music that comes from Japan, not specific to anime. I mean, it could still be artists that have done
Yeah.
anime openings and endings, but they're more known for the rest of their discography outside of anime, right? Who would be on that list for you?
Ooh. Okay. So because I'm old, I would like one of the first bands I got interested in was TM Revolution.
Okay.
And they are obviously very heavy into the Gundam Seed universe for music. But I think Lisa beats them out just because like she is becoming more renowned.
Yeah.
She had a skin in Fortnite. So even if like
I love that that's
even
the
if you
benchmark. Like if you have a skin in Fortnite, you're
in
in.
Fortnite, people know who you are. But since she was like featured, like her music was played, so like my theory would be there would be more casual people going to the event that would be like, oh yeah, I think I've heard of her, or like something would trigger.
Yeah.
But she also has like she has a very unique set of songs where like she can play like the soothing, like melodramatic song,
Mm-hmm.
the let's get hype, this is an intense song, or even like she has a song in Shangri-La Frontier called Queen. And I didn't know, like, first time I saw the episode, and I was like, I think I know who this is. Like, I was just spacing out. Obviously, the credit pops up telling you who's singing the song. I'm like, oh, it is Lisa.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So like, she does, yeah, she has the variety, and I think that's a great way to introduce someone into a band or into a genre of music because like, because I'm Canadian, I'll reference two Canadian bands. But if you hear a song by Sum 41 and you hear a song by Billy Talent, you've heard all of their songs. No matter what,
Yeah.
99% of their songs sound the same. If you go outside of that and you listen to like the Tragically Hip, another Canadian band that everyone should listen to, they have a variety. They have a lot of like cottage country kind of vibes with a lot of their songs. But I feel like their songs are more grounded in like telling a story, and like it's an
like Coheed
experience.
and
So
Cambria.
like, yeah, right. So like if you were to recommend a band from Canada, that's typically what I would do. I would say, listen to the hip. But if you're singling out one artist, like I can't think of anyone else who's like you're probably gonna say your artist, and I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense. But like to me, like Lisa is at that pinnacle right now. Like she could be global.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. Who else would fill out the rest of the lineup though?
The rest of the lineup, yeah, I would throw in TM Revolution. I think,
Okay.
well, it's not Asian Kung Fu Generation. It's the other one.
I know
Hold
which one
on.
you're talking about. Why can't I? Is it okay? Rock? Okay, go rock. Oh,
No, it's
I think I messed up their name too. It's like Rock Okay Go. I think is what I meant to say. Oops. Um, I'm trying. Yeah, I'm trying to think if I'm racking my brain for like all of the old classic shonen stuff because Asian Kung Fu Generation has done like a lot of the older shonen series. So I'm like, which one would it be?
it does.
Which one was it?
It was Flow. They
Oh,
sing
Flow.
Colors in the
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Great choice too.
So
Well, they're I mean, but they're
yeah,
they're known they're known. I mean, I know them for their anime openings too. But I
yeah.
mean, the rest of their discography is good as well.
And then there's also who is it? Back on. I like them because they're more like the J Rock era.
Yeah,
And there's this
lineup's getting big.
Uber World. They do a lot of anime openings, but I've also explored their discography, and it's different. Like I'm not going to say it's the best thing to ever hit the shelves, but it's I like bands that take risks and bands that like try stuff so that
Yeah,
like they become that unique kind of flavor.
it's one of my favorite bands of all time. Is does exactly that. Enter Shikari. They're like super progressive, weird. All their albums sound slightly different. All have different tones and feels and vibes and yeah. So no, I like that. It's good. Mine is I'm looking at mine now. Mine feels very like vanilla now. Yours is unique and like interesting artists. Mine are just ones that I'm like, God, I wish I could go see them. Um, for me, if I wanted to highlight the talents of Japanese artists, there's three that stick out specifically, and all three have wildly different feels to them.
Ooh.
But the headliner, I mean, again, I feel like it's an obvious choice, but it would be Otto. Like, has to be very like is world had worldwide tours for the last like 2 years, I think. Sells out everywhere. Is also incredibly young. She's only like 24 or something, I
Oh wow.
think. Or yeah, like she's young for how incredibly successful and talented she is. Like absolutely insane voice. Uh I think she would be the obvious choice for it. And again, like yes, she's done One Piece Red, right? She did the soundtrack to One Piece Red, so people will be like, "Oh, yeah, One Piece." But like the rest of her songs are all so good. So she would be my headliner for sure. Uh tough to put these others at like the special appearances spots, but there's really no way around it. My first big special guest would have to be Baby Metal.
Oh yeah, Baby Metal
Like,
could even like I'm gonna be risky here. Baby Metal could even headline.
oh yeah,
Like
oh yeah, for sure. Like,
because like they are I'm surprised I didn't even think of them only because they are again I'm talking about Fortnite. They're the fly-in song I use for Fortnite.
oh, for crying out loud, you gotta get off of Fortnite, man. Okay,
No.
there's other ways to make yourself feel young again. Fortnite is not the way.
What about World of Warcraft? It's coming out with a new expansion. Will that make me feel young?
yeah, do that. That's better. That's better.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But Baby Metal just I feel like
Yeah.
would be another obvious pick too. Like, and Hatsune Miku. No, people
No.
know the Hatsune Miku, and it's I want to do more like big names that are to a degree global names at this point, but probably don't have the level of notoriety in the United States, right? The whole idea behind this is make NFL popular in Japan, make Japanese
Yep.
art and media popular here. It's a a nice little relationship that we can have, a symbiotic relationship, we'll say. Um, we give them people that can cuss themselves with while taking a pig skin, down a grass field to another part of the grass field, and then they give us amazing songs. It's a good trade. Um,
Oh,
but
real quick.
baby metal is up
Um,
there. Yeah,
yeah. I just remembered there's an anime that I used to love and I never finished it. Eye Shield 21 is a football anime.
it is. It is.
Yeah. And manga.
I think Ice Shield 21 is on the list to get a reprint, or it might be on a list to
Ooh.
people are hoping it gets reprinted. I can't remember, but yes, Ice Shield 21 is good. You should go watch it too. There's a lot of good sports anime. I'm gonna be honest. There's a lot of good sports anime. We need more hockey though. Dogs Red. Hope you get an anime because the manga's freaking hilarious. But yeah, Baby Metal, it'd be tight between Otto and Baby Metal. I think Otto is gonna be my lead act, but Baby Metal will certainly be like a song or two at least. Third, or my second special guest, personal favorite of mine. I have seen them. Was lucky enough to go see them in concert. They were incredible. Is Atarashi Gakko, because they're like the female, pop group, right? But they're unconventional female pop group.
See, I didn't know their names, but I follow Suzuka on TikTok. Yep. Okay. Yeah,
aren't
and
they,
they're
aren't
wild.
they in Fortnite too? Aren't they now in Fortnite? Isn't that?
I don't think so, but
look it up on the back end. I think I saw something about Atarashi Gakko in Fortnite, honestly. I'm not kidding. But they would for sure be up there too. Again, like Otto is intense rock centric songs with a lot of like melodic elements to it, so it's got kind of a J poppy vibe at times, but she's like, her voice is just has such incredible range. Like she can have like a deep kind of roar type sound, and then like hit high notes like you wouldn't believe it. Baby Metal is exactly what you think. It's like pop mixed with just heavy metal background. And it's intense too. I like it. It's good stuff. And then Atarashi Gakko is like, again, weird, new age, poppy, hip hoppy, fun. No other really way to describe it. Style of music, where it's got a little goofy element to it when they perform, but the songs are all stellar. Like their discography is great. And then the last special guest I struggled with because there was a lot, and I was hoping that we weren't going to have any overlap, and we didn't, which is good. It just highlights the fact that there's plenty of artists to choose from, incredible artists to choose from for this little project. But the last one I was like, man, who do I go with? Do I go with like some of the newer ones, some of the more classic ones? And there's one that stuck out. I think it was just because they were on such a hiatus for a long time and they came back with an absolute bang. And that's, I'm going to mispronounce it. I apologize in advance. Sakanakshan, I think they're called. Sakanakshan.
I have not heard of them.
They did the opening for Orb on the Movements of the Earth. They did the song Kaiju for that anime. But they like had a big return, basically. Like they were on a hiatus for a long time. They got this assignment. It took them forever to make. And they I think when I read about them, the story went that they kind of used this as like a catalyst to get back together and keep doing more music and then touring again. And like they went on a big we're back kind of tour within Japan. It did great. Their music is awesome. Their band is also massive. That feels like there's like 8 or 9 members in their band. But they're so cool. They have such a cool sound. The lead singer's got an incredible range on them. The music is great. Like they would be like my third special guest, mainly just because you like a comeback story, and I feel like that they're the epitome of that with just how much they catapulted themselves from making that song to where they're at now. Which I realize Orb didn't come out that long ago, but a lot has happened since then. And certainly they've, I think, grown much since then. So they are my last special guest for the Super Bowl halftime. We got some pretty good lineups. I'm not gonna lie, we got some pretty good lineups. I think
My honorable mention.
It's a good showing. Yes.
Okay, just because I rediscovered them, is a band that went viral. World Order. If you don't know who they are, they're a businessman Japanese boy band. So they all dress in business suits.
Okay.
And they have like a very unique kind of like mechanical pop music. Like everything's very structured.
Okay.
And their one song is "Have a Nice Day," and it's just such a like very warming song. I think having them like kind of like pop out, like they can't in reality. They've broken up mainly because their lead singer is now a member of Japanese Parliament.
Oh well, the suits
right.
worked.
Yeah, exactly. But a lot of their gimmick is they walk around kind of like robots, like stop motion robots, and that's how they do their music videos.
Like,
so I think
go.
you could have them like come through the background as one of the acts is finishing, and then have them pop in.
I like it. I like the
just
idea.
because like you always want that weird like uniqueness to music, like when we had Left Shark and Katy Perry.
God damn it. We don't need a Left Shark, we'll say. That Super Bowl halftime show, I like that was atrocious. We had a couple of really bad stinky halftime shows, like back to back, I think. In that,
I had a list of them open earlier.
Yeah, they're not that good. Lately though, halftime shows been
the Black Eyed Peas one was pretty bad.
That was bad. That was unfortunate too. That was the one that was, I think, during, which one was that actually? What Super Bowl was that? Was that the Packers Super Bowl?
2011. So I can't do Roman numerals.
Yes.
XLV.
Yes, that was the Packers Super Bowl. Okay. And I remember my dad was there, and I did message him after the game. He
left.
He wouldn't have done. He might have left for the show and then come back to his seats. He wasn't gonna miss the game. I remember messaging him and being like, "That halftime show was bad." He's like, "Really? It wasn't that bad here." And I'm like, "Oh, then we got fucked because that halftime show was bad." Yeah, there was a lot of like, meh, ones for a wee bit. We had like Coldplay in there. I was like, not really a big fan of Coldplay. The Weeknd in there. Weeknd was okay.
When he got lost.
When he got lost in the cave of mirrors and just was like this.
Lost in the sauce.
Yeah, that was a great. The memes that came out of that one were pretty solid. Nothing compared to Left Shark. I don't think anything will ever beat Left Shark in terms of like halftime memes. But the Weeknd getting lost and having like the self camera thing was pretty good. Like looking up.
Like you'd think they'd run him through it a few times to make sure he knows where to go.
He's fine. He's fine. But yeah, I think if we were to send these over to Roger Goodell, I think we'd have a good shot of getting one of these lists.
All right.
Up there. So I'll get on it. I'll get with his PR team.
Get on it?
I'll get with his PR team. We'll see what we can do. But let us know who you would have on your Super Bowl halftime lineups. And you can do that by going to our social media pages, liking us, following us, and sharing all your thoughts on this. And we hope you enjoyed what you listened to today. This is the last week with the two goobers. We're going to have our captain back. Thank God. Because
King Goober.
The King Goober. because leading these is stressful and I don't like it. But I hope we at least still entertained and you enjoyed the show. Thanks as always for joining us. Again, if you want to keep up with us on everything that we're doing, talking about, and whatnot, you can follow us on our socials at Baka&Co Podcast, where we post as much as we can lately. I have not posted for quite some time. One, because my wife just recently had foot surgery, so I've been a nurse as well as working my full-time job and taking care of all of our animals in the house, making sure it doesn't fall apart. So it's been a lot. And two, because usually Frank posts a video or two and he's been, slacking off in Japan. The selfish bastard that he is. So, we'll get back to it though. But you can keep a lookout for future videos. We will be posting daily once again, or at least a couple times a week on our socials. That I can promise. But you can follow us at Baka&Co Podcast. Like I said, you can also talk with us directly by joining our Discord page, where you can find a link at our socials. You can chat with us, give us your Super Bowl halftime ideas, or just, gush about all the incredible things that you're watching, or why you think that we're dumb for our opinions. Whatever the case is, feel free to talk with us. We love chatting with you all and keep growing this community. As always, we thank you so much for listening. We will be back next week with a brand new episode with Frankfurter back in action. But until then, everyone, take care, and we'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.